lot of us here today have taken the pledge and have become second-degree Proud Boys. And if you're not aware of what that is, we have a mantra. Alright, and any of the Proud Boys here, I want them to repeat after me. I'm a Western chauvinist. And I refuse to apologize for creating the modern world. Now, gentlemen, Western culture has given us all of the liberties that we exhaust as Americans. And we need to keep that going because there is a war on for our culture right now. I'm not going to go all Alex Jones on you. I'm not going to tell you to put in chemicals in the memes to make the frog racist.
Gay!
You're making the frog racist! Alright. Well,
Gay frog!
I am against gay frogs. Alright? I will take the brave stance against gay frogs! Alright. But I want everyone to know that we're winning this culture war. And there's so much you can do within your culture to keep it going. And if you're interested in Proud Boys, come find me. Alright, we are fighting the culture war. We're on the front. We're using we're taking it over. Alright. There is that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Fuck it. Now we have the first of our two Johns speaking for America. Here he is. How you doing, America? I just want to say how awesome it is to see all of you out here standing for freedom, for America, and against the Antifa crowd over here who is sadly mistaken about what we're here to do and what we stand for. I think there's a big problem with misinformation in this country today. There's a lot of people who think that people who are patriots are all like white nationalists or white supremacists, for example. We're not racist. If you look at the crowd, there's all kinds of races of people here. We stand for freedom. We stand for the Constitution. You know, we stand for the First Amendment, for the Second Amendment. All these amendments, all these rights that we have, they're trying to take them from us. And we can't allow that. That's why we're here to push back. And, you know, we're not violent people. Antifa, not so much. They are violent people. It's pretty apparent. They're dying to have a conflict, and we're not scared of a conflict. We're here to stand in defiance of their tyranny. They claim to be for things like communism, socialism, and such. But the fact of the matter is that in communist countries, you can't speak freely. And this is a freedom of speech event. And so it's hypocritical of them to say they stand for communism and stand for socialism, and then they don't. They don't know what it is. They don't know what fascism is. Fascism is a form of totalitarian, authoritarian, right-wing government. Donald Trump was elected through the Electoral College through a constitutional republic system. So he's not a dictator. So I'm just going to leave you with that, and I just want you to think about Antifa. Think about what you say before you say it. You sound very uneducated. Get yourself some education.
Take off your masks! Let's give them Pepsi! Come with me, everyone! We're going to get the Pepsi!
There it is.
It's going to create peace! We need peace!
Hi guys, my name's John Rasmussen. Some of you know me as Constable from the Discord server where we organized this thing. I just wanted to try and encourage you guys to do a couple of things. I tried to put a speech together, but then this thing went viral and I was answering the phone constantly, so I didn't get a time to finish the speech. So I'm just going to go through kind of the points I was trying to try and make. Politics has become an occulted science on purpose to discourage us from using the electoral system of government to enact change. Today I want to talk about how to get elected to local public office, so that we can begin to work against the entrenched political elite that have control over the political narrative in this country. First, the voter list. Every town that you live in America, you can get access to a voter list. This list will have every voter in your district and their political party. By using this list as a database, you can actually talk to the people who will vote for you, rather than wasting your time, all the people who won't. You can actually figure out who has an issue, who needs things solved in town. And when you do this, they become your friend, they become your ally. And you don't have to talk about yourself anymore. They're going to talk about you. To run for public office, you really need to think strategically. You really need to time when you run. You need to figure out who your opponent is. Because the opponents right now, they're running unopposed. The people up there, the people they're backed by, they're running unopposed right now. We're being ostracized from the political system through silence and speech. They're all ready to run for public office. We aren't. So the cause. Everybody has a cause they love in local politics. You need to find out what that cause is and make it happen, because they can't do it on their own. In fact, people that have causes are shut down by the political elites and the people who have public office. We need to go around that and help these people, because without it, look at us right now. In order to get people to open up the letter that you send them, because you're going to have to send them things, use handwritten addresses. People really like handwritten letters. Things that you sign, things that you put effort into. Right now, the political elite, they send us form letters when we try and bring up an issue to them. They don't even read it. Signs, road signs do not get voters. Road signs build momentum for your final push for your campaign. When you fill the streets with signs, that doesn't do anything. But when you fill the streets with signs, the last 3 days of a campaign, you win. You're going to have to run first once to introduce yourself to the local community, and you will lose that round. You have to be prepared to lose once. But then the second time, everybody knows who you are. Everybody's coming to you because they know you're interested in public office and making change. They will seek you out after your first run. You need to participate in local meetings after your first run. You need to go to the town council. You need to go to the city council. You need to learn what they're doing. And then you need to ask to be appointed to the planning board, ask to be appointed to the board of appeals, ask to be appointed to all these boards these municipalities create to make bureaucratic work for us. And once you're in it, you can get rid of it. You really can. It's remarkable.
That's what we're going to do.
You must be tireless in your dedication to your voters. And they'll be dedicated to you. You really need to be working for the talkers, the gossips in your town, the people who everybody knows. Those are your allies. They are ostracized all the time because they talk too much or they have the wrong opinion. Those are your allies. They will talk to all of your neighbors for you, so you don't even have to do that face-to-face. Then you've got a neighbor personal recommendation. They'll even tell you who to call. If you don't want to talk about yourself, you don't have to. As I said before, neighbors will speak for you. Yep. Social media is useless. You are not their friend, you are their advocate. If you're on social media, they will use it against you, never in your favor. You need to find the corruption in your town and expose it clearly through that list of gossips that you've acquired. Not only do these political jobs pay a little bit, and we all need a job, we're taking away income from them. We're taking away political power from them. We're taking away their infrastructure. So, really, I guess I want to wind this up with, I want you all to run for public office. We all know that the entrenched DC elites have been working to cause an unaware and compliant citizenry. Well, that is changing, and it only changes if we run for office. Because these protests here, I've been to a lot of them, I've organized a lot of them, they don't change anything. But what they do is they build a network. They build the system that allows us to elect future leaders. There are a lot of future leaders in here. I've met a lot of them. A lot of them help me organize. You've met a lot of them already. These guys are kids. Like, this is the future generation. This is our hope. So we need to support them. And I thank you guys for coming out and supporting their ideas. Because if you didn't, and this fell flat, they may have given up. And that would have been the next generation we lost. Thank you very much.
Speaking next, we'll have Chip Murray of the Orange County, New York Oath Keepers.
I swear I'd miss my own birthday party to be here with you guys today. You are some of the most beautiful people I've seen in a long time. What a beautiful view to look out on Patriot faces, I can't tell you. So I'm a co-leader of the Orange County Oath Keepers, Orange County, New York.
I want to just thank my group, Angie over here, Angela, New York, Orange County Oath Keepers. Behind me, Britt, Jim behind me here, Matt is out front. We had the pleasure, most of the names I just mentioned, we were down in D.C. for the inauguration. We worked the ground, shadowing those cretins over there. Walked 12 miles, and we are so much better than they are. And I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But I wanted to say just a little bit about what we've done in Orange County that I hope, I don't know how many Oath Keepers are out there, but we spent the last year developing relationships with law enforcement, with our sheriff's department, with our mayors and supervisors, with the Police Chiefs Association. They love us. They love the fact that they know we have their backs. They know that they would much rather be, when push comes to shove, have me and you standing next to them than masked cowards over there, right? So I would encourage you all to try and be proactive in developing that trust with your local communities, with these groups. And I also write a political blog. My pen name is Shut Up and Sing on WordPress for any of you that like to read. And that's about all I have to say. I want to thank you all for showing up today. God bless you.
Speaking now, we have John Kerriman of the Oath Keepers.
Good afternoon. How's everybody? Got a lot of folks representing America today. We got Proud Boys, 3%ers. We got all kinds of folks out here, and of course, Oath Keepers. We're about keeping people safe. We as an organization are currently and formerly serving military, law enforcement, intel personnel, first responders, and we're just about preserving the American way. We're about restoring the Republic, preserving the Republic, and so are you, and we're proud to have you out today. The reason we've had to step out a number of times stemmed from those that have been charged with doing their job have not. So far today, we're awful proud of Boston PD, and I want you to give them a round of applause. They've really stepped up. What started all of this started out with the UC Berkeley and their campus police, which are sworn law enforcement, locking the doors during an event and allowing the attendees to get the crap beat out of them. Unconscionable. We're about honoring our oath, about keeping people safe, keeping them safe from enemies, foreign and domestic. So we liaised with Berkeley for the next one. They said we'll do a better job. They kitted up. They had all the equipment to do it. And I refer to it as the Ozark Cobra. All they did was posture. All they did was posture like a cobra. They didn't do squat. So we showed up. And once again, in addition with the Proud Boys, with the area civil defense, with the 3%ers, we came out and we made sure the venue was safe. At that time, Berkeley put up a orange snow fence to keep everybody safe. They said they passed an ordinance overnight keeping us from having shields to prevent us from being struck by stuff thrown at us. Took away our flag poles we couldn't defend ourselves with, and allowed the other side to come marching up with their flag poles and stomp down the fence. But we moved forward and they stopped. Moved back, and some of you young men were there and kept them back, kept all the nonsense out on the street. We're about peaceful gathering. It's what's afforded to us in our First Amendment rights, the right to peaceably assemble and speak our mind and do it in safety. We don't have to always agree with each other. Well, that day I would have given Berkeley probably a C. Once things began to kick off, they began to get a little more active. So they went from UC Berkeley getting an F to moving to Berkeley PD getting a C. The next event, much different. They took a more positive, proactive stance. They headed problems off. They did things proactively. They kept them away. We had to give them an A. Today, I'd give Boston an A. And I hope that throughout the continuation of the day, when we move from here on up the road and back, that everybody behaves themselves on both sides, and that you guys remember what this is all about. It's about God and country. It's about taking care of each other. It's about preserving what we know to be real and right and true and proper. Yes? before I leave the mic, I want to introduce the president and founder of Oath Keepers, former airborne and a personal friend of mine, Stuart Rhodes. New England Patriots! Let me hear a hoo-ah! That's it. Hoo-ah! This was the cradle of liberty. This still is the cradle of liberty. The restoration of the Republic begins here today in the Northeast, in New England, which is fitting. That's where it started back in 1775, as you all well know, on Lexington Green and Concord Bridge, and chased the Redcoats all the way back here and laid siege to Boston. And then at Bunker Hill, we showed them what we are about. They thought Americans were too weak, too soft, too spoiled, too decadent to fight. They learned their lesson, their mistake, on Lexington Green and Concord Bridge, but especially on Bunker Hill. We bled them out on Bunker Hill. Nathaniel Greene swore, he said, "Give me 10 more Bunker Hills," and the revolution would have been over. The Redcoats lost 1,300 men taking that hill. Such was the resolve of the patriots who dug in. Never forget your heritage. Never forget where you come from. I love what I see here today. Now I want to thank, you know who is actually, of course we have the Proud Boys here, we have Kyle Chapman here, we got 3%ers here. Where are the 3%ers at? 3%ers, give me a hurrah. All right, we got Bikers for Trump here, we got bikers in general here, we're all American patriots. But I want to take my hat off in thanks to those who are most responsible for us being here, and that is Antifa. Thank you, Antifa! Thank you, Antifa! If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here united. What is happening now is what I call the uniting of the American warrior class. And that includes old paratroopers like me, it includes all these old cops up here, it includes all the bikers, all the 3%ers, it includes every single one of you, whether you're prior service or not, you are part of the American warrior class. It includes Kyle Chapman and the Street Brawlers, it includes every one of us, and we are coming together thanks to Antifa. Now, Barack Obama, as you know, was the world's greatest gun salesman, right? He was also a community organizer in Chicago. I think Antifa has vastly eclipsed Barack Obama when it comes to being community organizers, because they are organizing warrior communities like this and uniting the warrior class across this nation, including in Berkeley, California. One of our strongest chapters right now is the Alameda County chapter of Oath Keepers, where Berkeley is. They have now twice stood in front of the fascists over there on the left, and stood their ground and defended free speech along with all their brothers in California. That is now one of our strongest chapters, and we thank Antifa for doing that. Every single one of you, how many here are prior service, either military, police, or first responder? Raise your hand. Where are my prior service guys? I want you to look around you and look up here at all these young kids. These young kids brought me to friggin' tears when I walked up here. You got a bunch of young 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. I've got children older than them. This is your future. Let me see your hands again, your prior service. Raise your hand. Where you at? Prior service, military, police, and first responders. Your duty is to lead by example and show these young kids the right course, how Americans behave. Your duty is also to pass on your skills. When you were trained by the U.S. military or the police academy or the firefighter or EMT, those skills, your skills, belong to the next generation.
Make sure you take a young person under your wing and mentor them and pass on your skills so your skills do not die with you. That is your charge. That is your duty. Do you understand that?
Yeah!
Lead them, teach them, each one, train one. Duplicate yourself before you go. And when you die, you should look back on your life and know that you did all you could to pass the torch to the next generation. Do not regret your life when it's time for you to go. I'm done. Patriots, come on back!
Nick! Come on!
Oh, they got the paddy wagon. Back to the paddy wagon. Watch out.
Woo! For you, motherfucker!
Yeah, enjoy Bubba.
Behold, he named you.
Oh shit! Here comes the cavalry.
No, last year I was
Patriots assemble.
On my list, call me!
So we're going to start bringing, we're bringing them back here.
Everyone, get back to the bandstands!
Everybody!
Back to the bandstands!
Yo! All you fuckers out there, get up here! My name is Augustus Invictus. I'm from Florida. I'm not from Boston. I came up here to Boston because Kyle Chapman asked me to speak here today. It was a last-minute thing, and I said I had to because Boston is the birthplace of the revolution. I'm very honored to speak here today because I don't fit in with the rest of these folks. They are very level-headed people. They are very mainstream people, and I am neither of those things. I used to be an attorney, and I used to be a politician. But then about a year ago, these kids in black up on the hill, they surrounded a bar where we were doing a meet and greet, and they beat up my supporters with a 2x4, bashed in their car windows, and then they tried to take me out when they flooded the bar, and miraculously the cops showed up before they could get to me. But from that point, we didn't do business as usual anymore. From that point forward, we have always been armed, we have always been prepared for a fight, and this might be news to you, but this is the new state of politics in America. So if you are not ready to match your words to deeds and to fight on the streets here, and not just in courtrooms, and not just in ballot boxes, and not just with political parties, then you're about to be irrelevant. Because at this point, everybody is ready for revolution. I don't mean revolution in the Bernie Sanders type. I don't mean revolution of some brand new marketing scheme. I don't mean there's going to be a ballot box revolution that's going to be peaceful. I mean literal revolution. These fuckers on the Hill want revolution because they are communists. Because they want to overthrow the government so that you will all live under communism. Those of us on the right, at least in my radical camp, want revolution because it's already fucking communist in the federal government, and it has to be taken down anyway. When you come to a point where your federal government no longer listens to your petitions, when you come to a point when your vote no longer matters, when you come to a point when political parties are ineffective, and speech and court petitions and all the rest mean nothing, you have nothing left but force of arms. If you're not armed, you are a fool. If you think that you can fight this federal government, or those cops on the Hill, or the communists up there under the statue, without arms, you are naive. If you talk about revolution and you are not armed, then you are no better than the Beatles. You are no better than any hipster that followed Bernie Sanders. It's a serious business and you need to take it seriously. Politics is a serious business. If everybody were paying attention, if everyone were paying attention to what is going on in the federal government, it would not be the way it is today. If you were active in your local government like John is, if you were active at the state level, if you were paying attention to what happened in the election cycle, it would not be this way. Our founding fathers set up a constitutional republic, knowing that it would devolve, and knowing that it would be eradicated if you were not vigilant and if you did not fight for it by force of arms. With every generation, the tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It has been 150 years since the last Civil War, and your new Civil War is upon you. Look at what is going on in this country and tell me it's not already here. You have our monuments down in the South being removed by masked men at night under cover of police sniper fire. You have these Antifa setting fires in the streets, attacking politicians, myself included, attacking protesters like yourselves, rushing police lines. It is a war. We have intelligence operations on their side and on our side. The FBI has counterintelligence operations. If you think it's anything other than war, then you have been lulled to sleep by the media. So it is time to wake up to that fact and prepare yourselves. And a word on preparation. A lot of people here speaking, they have made the point that there are many different groups here. There are libertarians, like me. There are Republicans. And how many libertarians are there here? Oh shit, that's actually a lot of libertarians. Good for you guys. How many Republicans are here? Yeah, like a couple. Alright, so libertarians, we outnumber you for once in our lives. Yeah, how about the nationalists? That's more like it. We got 3%ers. We got Earth Keepers. We got Proud Boys. We got every type of group out here on this lawn. And on the internet machine, you all bicker like fucking children. Stop it. Look at what is going on right here. Nobody's bickering. Because everybody here faces one common threat, and it's up on that hill. Y'all keep punching to the right. The hard right calls the centrist sellouts. The centrists call us on the right radicals, say we alienate the public. Everybody keeps sniping each other, and no one is focusing on the fact that we all have one enemy, and it's over there. So as my parting word, please take that into consideration. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. We need to unite the right wing in this country. We need to unite the various factions of the Patriot movement to form one mass movement for the betterment of the United States of America. Thank you.
John number 2 will be coming up again. Speak. There he is.
Alright guys, I'm leaving 2 now.
All right, guys. I'm really bad about asking for money. I was told I'd get $10 if I rubbed my hands together.
Somebody get him $10!
So, Kyle Chapman has paid to get here out of pocket. The Oath Keepers have paid to come here out of pocket. All of you have come here to pay yourselves out of pocket. Sadly, I can't reimburse everybody here, but I might be able to get Kyle reimbursed. I need you guys really to throw in some money. My daughter was going around earlier trying to collect donations. We only raised $200 so far. We really need to raise quite a bit more than that. So if you guys can please, break open your wallets. Hopefully I'm expecting people to go around with hats shortly while Kyle's speaking. Please be generous. If we don't do this, we can't do it again. Well, we're already $3,000 in the hole right now. So we really need some money. Thanks, guys. Okay.
So I'm one of the organizers. My name's Ori Leventhal, and I live in one of the suburbs. And anyways, we've made a list of demands relating to the recent and dramatic events of Antifa across the nation, but specifically in Berkeley and just in general. And the dereliction of duty when it comes to public universities and when it comes to the police in specific counties, in specific states, although not here, not today at least. They did their job today, and for that we have to thank them. I mean, what would he do without the BPT? Anyways,
everyone clap for the police.
It is as such that we gather to protest the encroachment of... No, not now. So it's because of this that we've gathered here today to protest the encroachment of tyranny on our public institutions and on the very fabric of American life. And so we demand, because of the recent events, the following. And I'm trying to get this done as quickly as possible. So, number one, that all on the issue of public funds relating to the state and public universities, that all public universities and colleges may not expel or refuse any speakers who have gone through proper procedure. They must not submit to the political pressure or to threats of violence, whether from students or from terroristic groups such as Antifa, right here. Furthermore, all public universities and schools must reaffirm their commitment to the First Amendment, its principles, and freedom of speech in general. Furthermore, we demand an end to all hate speech codes and laws on public universities. It is one thing for a private institution to have its own demands. It is one thing for them to encroach on their student rights because that is their right on their property. But the government does not have the right to violate your fundamental liberties. They do not. Now further, relating to the rising trend of political violence, we ask the federal government of the United States of America to label Antifa as a domestic terror organization, whether it's by any means necessary, or frankly just any group that associates with these violent terrorists. And this is specifically because of their violent use of tactics and their violent rhetoric and the fact that they actively go to shut down other people's rights. Now, we further demand that the government reaffirm the duty of police to protect the First Amendment rights of peaceful civilians against the violence of organizations such as Antifa, whether they are left or whether they are right on the political spectrum. No citizen should ever be forced to risk their safety in order to exercise their fundamental rights. And that further, any city that refuses or rather tells the police to stand down in such an instance should be denied federal funding. This is wrong, this is immoral, and they should be punished. We demand that further no police stand down when there are violent riots, that they do their job to restore the order in our cities, and they defend people's private property rights and their other rights, like again free speech. Finally, we demand federal investigations onto the state of free speech on college campuses and high schools across this country. We demand that these... we demand a once per decade government commissioned report pertaining to the state of free speech on college campuses, divided into a subsection of K-12 and that of higher education, which examines the state of these issues on both public and private universities, although the private get to choose if they cooperate naturally to support private property rights. That further, the government shall pay for an independent watchdog to do a simultaneous report pertaining to the same subject. Should the entities fail to meet the minimum standards regarding the protection of freedom of speech, then there shall be a decrease in federal funding. We should not be funding institutions that deny us our fundamental rights. Yeah, that's about it.
They say we don't like immigrants. We have people from Moldova here. He's an Israeli. There are legal immigrants here everywhere. There's more citizens, but we have immigrants here. They say we don't like immigrants. I don't think that's true. They're everywhere. There's legal immigrants. We're going to defund the sanctuary cities to keep the illegals out. Now, Kyle Chapman will be speaking. The stick man.
at this sea of warriors and patriots. I love it. Hey, all you boys over there, come over here. Come off the front lines. You're gonna want to hear this. Where my Proud Boys at? I said, where my Proud Boys at? Right. Where's all my Irish boys and girls at? Where my massholes at? Oh, you bunch of fucking massholes. Make sure you put your trash in the garbage. The trash in the garbage, over there.
Listen, guys, I want to thank all of you for coming out here. This is how we make events like this happen. I know many of you travel from different states. Many of you drove many hours to get here. I myself came from the West Coast, flew 9 hours to be here and to give this speech, to be here and support you guys. And I hope one day you all come over to the West Coast and support us over there in the neo-Marxist hellhole that's known as the Bay Area.
California.
California. So, I wanted to start off, so since we're here in Boston, I wanted to talk a little bit about an event that went down here December 16th, 1773. Boston Tea Party. I'm sure there's many of you that might have had an ancestor or one of your forefathers that were a part of this. I personally have traced my lineage, and I do have an ancestor that was part of the Boston Tea Party. What happened that day is men rose up against the oppression of the crown for an unfair taxation. These men possessed the warrior spirit, the bravery, and the courage necessary for the preservation or to create our free republic. They kicked it off that day. Let's hear it for our ancestors. During that time, and over $1 million of tea at that time was dumped into the Boston Harbor. And what they did is that one act inspired other people to rebel against the crown. And I like to think that the valor myself and others showed at the Battle of Berkeley, May 4th, has helped inspire many people to come out, many people like you to come out and start to stand up against tyranny, to start to fight and show these people, show our government, and show these communists over here that America has not lost the warrior spirit. We were once warriors, and warriors again we are! We are not Germany, and we are not France, and we will not lay down and let these people take our country from us. So our ancestors secured this republic, or helped kick off the revolution that gave us our constitutional republic. And we did well for a while. We had a great free republic for a long time. And then something happened. Something in 1913 happened. What happened in 1913? The Federal Reserve and the 16th Amendment federal income tax.
Audit the Fed! And the Fed.
That's when we began to lose our constitutional republic again. We allowed the bankers, I believe it was for the third time, to come in and steal away our freedom, steal away our government, our constitutional government, and dictate our monetary policy and our economic policies.
Andrew Jackson!
Andrew Jackson! Let's hear it for Andrew Jackson! You want to talk about a lawyer? You want to talk about a patriot? Boy, if we had 100 Andrew Jacksons, we could take this government over right now, I'll tell you.
In the Fed!
In the Fed, baby. That's what I wanted to get around to. So the Federal Reserve has destroyed our economy repeatedly. Since its inception in 1913, we need to audit the Federal Reserve. We need to back Rand Paul and get this bill passed through Congress to audit the Federal Reserve. And after we're done auditing the Federal Reserve, we need to abolish the Federal Reserve. Our country, the bankers
demonic cabal of sons of bitches this world has ever seen. They all need to be hung for nuisance.
Hang 'em all!
Hang 'em all!
Hang him in the Boston Common! Torn, feathery, great again!
So who are the bankers? Who are these people?
Rockefeller! Rothschild!
Rothschilds!
Soros!
George Soros, yes. The bankers are the globalists, guys. They're the ones at the top of the pyramid. They're the ones that are starting all the wars. People like George Soros, he crashed the British economy, crashed the pound, manipulated the money over there. He overthrew the Ukraine. He's been overthrowing governments and messing up governments and destroying republics for a long time now. So there's another thing that this guy, George Soros, does. What else does he do? Funds Antifa. And that's how he's trying to overthrow this country now. The funding of groups like this. These groups are getting bigger. They have a foothold in Europe. They don't have a foothold here yet. We need to put our foot down and take a stand and make sure these sons of bitches don't get a foothold like they have in Europe. We need to crush them. We need to destroy them. We need to demoralize them. And we will, and we have been. And we will continue to do that. And I will be there. I will back you guys. I hope you will back me in my cause to raise awareness about Antifa and communism, because that's all they are. They are not anti-fascists. These are communists. These are communists. These are the foot soldiers, the street thugs of the Communist Party. And the Communist Party in the United States of America is the Democrat Party. They have all become communists at this point.
Give him the stick!
So these kids, these Antifa kids, so if you guys didn't know that, this started off in Germany. And they were basically the street thugs for the Communist Party in Germany. They would fight against the nationalists in the streets in the 1920s and 1930s. And they changed their name to anti-fascist to give themselves sort of a noble sound, right? Like, oh, we're going to fight fascism. So again, these aren't fascists, are anti-fascists, guys. These are straight up, dyed-in-the-wool communists, all right? Let's not make any bones about that. So primarily here in the United States and even in Europe, these communists are made up out of what? A bunch of spoiled fucking white kids.
Trust fund commies!
A bunch of trust fund commies. Most of them haven't known any adversity in their lives. They're living in basements and they got a credit card that their parents pay for every time.
Majoring in underwater bathroom.
And so they're a bunch of these little punk-ass white kids, but they want to destroy Western civilization, which their ancestors built. What kind of inverted logic is that? They want to destroy the very civilization that your ancestors fought and died for. There's a reason why these people think the way they do. They are being indoctrinated. They have been indoctrinated since very young, since they were in elementary school, that white are the evil people. Fear the evil white boogeyman, right? That the white man has his boot on the neck of every minority out there, and that they somehow have to right the wrongs of their ancestors. This is nonsense, people. This is bullshit. What they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy Western civilization. And to do that, they're going after whites. And what they want to do is, after the Western civilization is destroyed, upon its ashes, they want to build a communist dystopia. A horrible country with no freedoms, no rights, no private property, nothing. So we have to fight back on this, and we should not be afraid to call them out on this subject. That the constant indoctrination of these kids, trying to get them to hate Western civilization, hate white people, it's got to stop. We have to address this within our schools. We have to address this within our universities. We have to stop it. We can't be afraid to speak out about it anymore. It's too obvious. It's happening all around us. It's undeniable at this point. They're teaching white privilege in colleges now. It's terrible. So we're going to push back on it. How do you guys feel about that? That's what I'm talking about, guys. So once again, we are going to demoralize them. Can I get a hoo-yah for that? Hoo-yah! We are going to humiliate them. Hoo-yah! We are going to destroy them. Hoo-yah! And what do we stand for? I'm going to tell you guys what we stand for. We stand for freedom. Our cause is righteous. We stand for liberty. We stand for justice. We stand for liberty. I want to hear liberty from you guys. Oh, no, I don't want to hear. I want to hear freedom. What do we stand for? Freedom. What do we stand for? Freedom. What do we stand for? Freedom. That's right, baby. Thank you, guys.
Say, guys.
Praise Cat! Praise Cat! Praise Cat!
Hey guys, we're about to start this march right now. Yeah, first of all, if we can get all medical personnel up here on the stage, we need to go ahead and speak to you, talk to you about a couple things. We need to get all medical personnel up here on the stage and go ahead and talk to you.
I was going to kick it old school, but I went with the Rand. Nice. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere.
Actually, I thought you'd be my friend.
Agenda, next flag, please come to the headstand.
This is my, you know how more like not discovered.
By the way, do you remember anything specific about trying to talk to you?
Yeah. I got a dildo and they're all stuffed up.